Hey, good morning, Randy Henry here. I am out in the shop again in beautiful Silverton, Oregon. It's a cold spring day, and I am going to spend the day in my shop again. So here are some things that I'm working on. This is kind of cool. So this is going to be my radio box. It's going to go up between here. I put it together yesterday and it fits just about perfect up there. There you go. Fasten that into place. I'll have my VHF primary, secondary up there, and maybe a few other things. And it's kind of fun because I get to build this sort of these little items here to customize it. I'm going to have to face the music at some point and actually build drawers. But I'm going to do that when I've got everything figured out where I'm going to be placed. I've been stringing some of the electronics and even my hydraulic steering cables in just to make sure they fit. Found out my motor harness is about 6 or 8 feet short, so I'll either have to have that extended or buy an extension. I'm doing the last sanding on the inside so I can get that painted by the end of the week. Starting to do some other pieces of wiring. As you can see back here, stringing some of the cables using the old PVC pipe as a cable hanger kind of technique. Well, I've run into a little problem, so I'm gonna have to get creative here. See what you think. And this is my problem. I need to have an access point here to clean out on the gas tank. And I forgot to put a flange on it. So if I drop this in, it falls through. Obviously that's not any good because this is a spot that's going to get stepped on. So here's what I had to do. I very carefully put this on a piece of plywood, traced it, built a flange around it, or a distance around the outside. Because I've got a brace between the two floor sections here, I had to cut this notch in it. And it'll plug in just like that. So I'll have to epoxy that into place. But when I was doing fitting that, I noticed that there were drips because I had been sloppy on the bottom side of this, and I wasn't going to get a good contact. So I needed a way to sand the bottom side of this and make sure I have a good gluing surface. So I took my handy dandy sanding disc, I think that's for doing like body work and stuff, turned it upside down, cut a hole in the adhesive disc, and that enabled me to get in there very effectively do the blind side. And now these fit very well. Nice and flush. So now I'm going to make up some epoxy, regular and thick, and glue this into place with a couple clamps. another point in the life of this boat where lots of small things end up getting coated with epoxy and laying around my shop. I've got all kinds of things. Radio box, hatch covers. It's a good example of a different kind of fiberglass. Cure's very light colored. That fiberglass just disappears. But lots of pretty glossy pieces of wood. Here I am the next morning, and it's cured and looking ready to go. I'm going to pull these screws out. And fits right in there. Cool. Clean that up just a little bit. I'll probably do one more coat of just thinned epoxy after I sand that down. Then I will inset a couple of blind nuts in there. And after inspection, I will do a thin layer of sealant, screw that down, and voila, it'll be good to go. Got the other lid here. So this is my battery box lid. It's got the flanges that should, in theory, keep the water from entering the box, so that's good. Yep, that'll fasten down fine. Now I built this access panel so I can get to the wires as they come from under the gunnel and through the battery box. And I glued up this piece of wood oversized so I can cut it exactly to shape, and that will be mounted again with blind nuts for a good flush fit. So I'll measure that out here in a few minutes. And this is another piece of hatch work that I finished up last night. That fits right in there. So good. Getting these pounded out piece by piece.